The new iPhone 14 is out, and what's new or what's not new about the new phone? We're going to chat about that with Abhik from the Fiber team. So, Abhik, what is your opinion about the new iPhone? Frankly, all that chat we had earlier. After that, I wasn't expecting much, and I don't think so. There is too much for those who don't have too much money.
Exactly, that was the question all this while, is that will Apple launch something new? As in, are we going to see something new with the latest iPhone? So the answer is somewhat mixed. iPhone 14, iPhone 14 Plus, which is their standard versions of iPhone, they are more or less similar to the last year's version. The iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max, which is the cream of the line, which is the newest and the most premium product in their lineup, is getting some big changes.
Okay, so we're going to talk about those big changes. Let's start sequentially. What would you like to talk about first? The looks?
And more than the design first, I think should we address what's changing, what's not?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that obviously includes the looks as well. So with the regular models, iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus, that's more or less these are more or less similar to the last year's model design-wise. We get two cameras on the back. The front retains the notch that houses the Face ID and the front camera. But yeah, apart from that, the 14 Pro models, which is the top in the line products, they are getting some big changes in terms of looks, because at the front there is a new notch which Apple is ditching after I think 5 years or so. So that will attract a lot of customers, because when you use your smartphone, it's like this. It's not like this. So when they look at the display of those devices, there's something new to look at.
But if I'm holding my phone like this, I won't be able to make out the difference which one I'm holding.
So exactly. If people get the phone from the back, they will like, it's a purana iPhone. So there's not much to differentiate in that regard.
So those who like to show off, I guess you can keep sticking to your older phone. But those who like to actually upgrade and want something new in terms of performance, is there any change?
So that's an interesting question. So the regular models, they come with the old gen chipset. What I mean is that the processor that was powering the entire iPhone 13 lineup is now still on the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus.
Okay.
But the 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max models, they are getting a more powerful processor. Why is Apple doing it? Because they clearly want to differentiate between these two models. So that people who want the best in line, they can go for the Pro models. People who are sort of looking for a new iPhone but don't want to splurge so much, they have the iPhone 14 model.
This is a very clear case of rich and poor divide, in my opinion, and iPhone has brought it into their phone range also. I mean, if you cannot afford it, then you can't. And there is a huge difference in the price also.
Definitely.
The 80,000 is what you pay for an iPhone 14 base,
yes.
Whereas 1,40,000 is what you pay for iPhone Pro base. Isn't that so?
Yeah, exactly. And that is also very confusing this year, because the iPhone 13, when it's launched in India, it costed at around rupees 80,000. This year, iPhone 14, it again costs at around rupees 80,000. So customers will be naturally confused, right? Should we go for the iPhone 14 or iPhone for the iPhone 13 model? Of course, the Pro models, they have become more expensive. They are 10,000 more expensive than the last year's model. So naturally, if you're paying more, you're getting a bit more features.
Actually, I asked him the same question before we started rolling, and that was, if I want to buy a new phone, because I have 11 and I usually go for the odd number series. You must have heard those, stories. So anyway, I was thinking I'll go for the 13, but if 14 is already so cheap, should I buy that? That is the big question. Should I buy iPhone 13 or should I buy iPhone 14?
See, in that case, if you have a number phobia, if you have this odd even phobia, to be honest, there's not much of a difference between iPhone 12, 13 and 14. Why do I say that? It's because when Apple launched the iPhone 12 model, we saw a big change in terms of connectivity, which is 5G, which is the top of the town, and India will be getting 5G. iPhone 13 also got 5G, iPhone 14 also has 5G. So in that case, the feature-wise, what is the selling point at this point? All three smartphones have that. But the question is whether you should go for the 13 model or the 14 model. To be honest, it's a kind of confusing for newer customers and old customers. Why I say that? New customers who have never experienced an iPhone, I feel that they should go for iPhone 13. Simply because it is more or less similar to the newer model. Somebody like me who has already been using iPhones for certain years and want to see more changes, in that case, iPhone 14 makes sense.
Okay, let's talk about some more changes which are not there for the third world countries, but only for the first world countries. Do tell us.
So yes, Apple has introduced. So if you looked at the poster, the official poster, it said far out. So when we spoke last time, there was a lot of confusion. कि ये far out exactly क्या है?
हम तो
Are they-
constellations और
Exactly.
stars में पहुंच गए थे.
We literally reached to the stars thinking कि Apple is probably doing something in the photography department. There,
Right, we did.
The camera, कुछ ना कुछ तो अलग होगा. What it has done is basically they introduced this new thing called satellite connectivity. Now satellite connectivity in the commercial space may seem a little obscure, but in the enterprise space, it is not very obscure. क्यों? क्योंकि इससे directly you can connect to the satellites for cellular connection. So Apple has introduced that in the iPhone 14 models, but it is not coming to India because India में satellite connectivity is not available to general masses. So इसलिए that is only limited to American and the Canadian market at this point. India में अगर कभी आएगा तो we might also get to use
Right.
it.
What about this eSIM feature? I mean, why only in US? Why not in India?
No, so eSIM is already available in India.
Yes.
Satellite connectivity is only available in certain countries, barring India.
But the slot, this physical slot,
Yes.
why is it being removed in US and not in India?
So that is a tricky question because see, eSIM is already available in India. To those who don't know what an eSIM is, it's basically a replacement of your physical SIM card. India में Jio, Vodafone Idea, and Airtel they all support this technology. So what Apple is probably trying to do is that for a very long time there was this rumor that we will see a phone without the USB-C charger, without the charging port, without the SIM card slot. Why? So that like it looks more modern, more futuristic, without a portless smartphone, as they say. So Apple is probably testing that in the US to see how it works and if it goes well. And also US has a large share of iPhone users, right? So अगर वहाँ पे if it is done successfully, then they can implement it in other countries as well.
But I do see another repercussion of this, and that is people who used to get smuggled phones from America to India and sell them. There will be some sort of a problem as far as transition is concerned. If you're using a physical SIM and then this new phone comes in, I mean, it might be a little problematic how the Indian eSIM works, how this phone works. So we should, I guess, wait a little before we start getting them from America.
It's a very good point because see, for example, I know a lot of people who buy their iPhones from different countries. In the US, it's a bit cheaper than what we get in India, even in Dubai. So at least in the US, for example, वहाँ पे they don't have this physical SIM card slot, and if Apple, if somebody decides to bring an iPhone from the US, they will get the same in India, as in like design with the change नहीं होगा ना. But one good thing is that Apple provides global warranty. So even if you get it in India and you face some problem in future, आप जाओ store में, you can always get it fixed.
Okay. Now, before we wrap up, let's just talk about the new watch. I don't wear a watch, but you
I
say
have, I'm wearing a Samsung watch, but
in an
Very-
Apple video. So wrong. Anyway, the new watch, I was reading in the Indian Express that the person who was reviewing it, he was very excited about the watch. In fact, he was saying there's nothing new about the phones. It's the watch which is the hero.
it could be. So since we mentioned my Samsung watch, the thing is Apple's watch, Apple has launched 3 watches this year. One is the regular, which they're calling is Series 8. There's an SE model, which is a more affordable Janta ke liye watch, and there is a very expensive watch which is called Apple Watch Ultra. Now, what's so special about this Ultra watch? It is designed for athletes, people who like hiking, trekking, and all that. So that offers more battery. It offers more or less some features, and looks-wise also it is more rugged. So why it is different and why it matters at this point for the watch, for example, I'm wearing, this is a Samsung watch and it is also designed for fitness-oriented customers. So this is Apple's response to
As you
Samsung.
can see.
So this is Apple's response to Samsung saying कि भाई अगर आप कर सकते हो, we also have it, but it is more premium, it is more expensive, and it is how Apple it is.
How
for everybody.
much?
So that costs around 90,000 rupees.
Okay, that's the cost of a phone, the iPhone 14.
Yes.
So you can choose whether to buy a new iPhone 14 or you want to buy the new Apple Watch. Choice is yours. But in my opinion, it's all new, but there's nothing new. What do you think?
Somewhat. See, if you are going for the Pro, you are the Pro in the line. But if you are going for regular, आप हमारे जैसे ही हो, you are the same.
Yeah, stay in the line. Wait for the big sales. Wait for the, when it drops down, all those rebates, and use all sorts of credit cards and bring down the price and buy the iPhone 13. My motto for this year. Bye.